This is Victor. I'm here with a new wiki painting, and this time we're going to talk a little bit about the powders, okay? Powders to make some effects like dirtiness or something like that. So first I will start to make like a sun look, like he has this thing having in the sun. So how to make this using powder? So I'm going to take this type of pigment, this light color. We put it on a palette. You don't need too much. Okay, and then I'm going to take water. Okay, and we are going to mix this powder with water. You can see I already used this before. This water, I guess, should be enough, and we are going to mix it. The powder will have much darker color when we do that, or the pigment, and now that have a consistency very similar to a wash, we are going to apply this in the areas where we want to create this dirtiness. Okay, we do something like that, where it will accumulate. Then you can go like that and put, just make it a little bit patchy, but you want to go especially around the rivets, so something like that should be enough. Let's do that. We do the same on the other side. Okay, and now we are going to wait that this dries, and here what you want to do is like a sand effect, like dusty, but without covering completely the undergo color. Okay, so I'm going to wait that this dries in that case, and I will come back to show you how it looks like. Okay, then how we do the other effect that we can do is here. For example, we can make like oxidation. So I'm going to take more orange rust or dark rust. Okay, you can have different types of rust. So let me just take the aged rust is the one I want to use. It's quite a dark reddish color. This one. These are from, okay, it's a very reddish color. And we are going to do something very similar. So I need to be careful that my wash is fully dry. My brush is, then I'm going to take some and put it here on a palette. And I want to show you that after that I recommend that you clean the water that you are using. The rust is really dirtying everything. So I'm going to take the rust, sorry, the pigments. We are going to take water. So you can see I put some powders here on this palette. We take water, something like that. One more. Okay, and we are going to mix it. I recommend that you start with not too much water, and then if you see that is too solid, but this looks okay, so you want this type of consistency. And what we are going to do is the same. We are going to come here and we are going to apply it where we think the rust will accumulate. Okay, I'm going to do here, I'm going to apply there, and we can do the same on this side. Just I will go next to the two plates, and because it's very thin, I recommend as well not to work thinner, and you always can add a little bit more pigment. Here you have the ability to add pigment in case it's too transparent, but I don't want to do. And then you can do some patch, and we are going to make like that to like it's pull it down. And I will put some here at the base of this stuff. Again, we wait that this dries. Now I want to show you how it looks like. This is the one darker here is not dried, so this one have not dried yet, this one is dry. So what we can do next? So now we take a clean, a completely dry brush. Here is important, the brush is very clean. I'm not clean, it's completely dry, and we're going to do like that. Okay, you can do the same here, but this is not dry yet, so this is white, but you can see we make it. Now you can take a little bit more if you want, again, and put a little bit, but it's and the tricky part on this is that each time that you come back, the water will thin them again. Okay, so for example here I want to put again some dust on areas where it did not went. So you can even remove the areas where you don't want dust and let it accumulate in the areas where you want it. Okay. Again, it's becoming darker because I wet it. So it's the tricky part that it, and we wait this dries again. Okay. We wait that this dries. I will wait that this dries too. Okay. And once it have dried, I come back and I show you how it looks like. Okay. Once it has dried, you can see it's quite discreet, not as visible. Here we have a little bit more. I went for quite dark rust, so if you want to make it more visible you can put more. But as I wanted to look like between dirt and dusted and dirty, I think for me this is good enough, okay? So it's up to you, you can always come back and put a little bit more. The powders will look, you can also go darker or lighter, the powders will look a little bit the pigments will look a little bit yeah, lighter than what it looks normally. And here we have the other ones, okay? And here I will do again what I did before, but I wanted to do with a very soft brush. So in that case I will take one of the softer brushes that you can find, that are the makeup brushes. Okay, and I will take a new one, so to be sure that it's as soft as possible. So you can take, for example, something like that. Okay, this is super soft. Okay, and what you want is, I lost the part now, here it is. You want really very little by little to you can see, and you leave it dirty. Okay, you do like that. And I think like that, for me, it's how you do. You can come back and add a little bit. Know that it's, for example, you can come back now with the, that is less, that the water have evaporated, and put more if you want on the regions that you think that will accumulate more. Okay, and the intention is to keep building up this dirtiness little by little, making it irregular. You can also put a little bit more on this part here. You can see now it dries quite fast because there is much less water. So you want to be sure that the recess is dirty in that case, okay? and you can do like that. And now here it's a little bit too much maybe, and I take just a little bit with this, and you remove very little. Okay, and you can see what it looks like. I do the same here, and you have it like that. Okay. You can also take out from where you don't need it, or if you see that you're missing some spot, you can always come back, and even with water you can spread it a little bit. And this is a way how to do dirtiness, okay? So how to make it look dusty if you want it. Of course, this is a little bit too much for a full surface. Normally you want to do it in crevices, but I just wanted to show you how dusty can look like, okay, if you want to do dust. If we go back to the rust, it's more or less, we have used the same technique. You can see, you can add a little bit more. Maybe I have here some dark. I can add some of the darker one. Okay, and you see that I just have the powder here from other moment. So you just take my brush dirty with water. I take some of this, and now I can apply a little bit as well. Okay, and again, this is darker than what looked like at the end. Okay, so you can see how I add the dirtiness. So now I'm adding dirtiness, and then if I want even go darker, I have this one that is a dark brown mixed with some black. I use this to do the weapons, but I also can use it here to create some dirtiness. If you want to do some of this part, for example here, I have the feeling that it went too light, so I can add a little bit more. Now on this part I can go with again with the rusted one and add a little bit more, and we need to wet this device again. I can add a little bit on this part as well. Okay, so here you can see this one is almost dry, only this part here is wet. You can see how it looks like. Okay, I like a lot to play with pigments. I recommend you to experiment. Now I'm going to show you how the rest of the bike is looking like, where I have used the pigments. Okay, so you can see the dirtiness on the exhaust pipe, the dirtiness on the weapons, and then we have applied some sand effect on the wheels. So here, what I can do now, again, we take the sand that we were using, and I can add a little bit more, and then we'll dry, okay, and we'll look. So I can add a little bit more on the crevices, so it looks dusted, okay, it looks dirty. As well here at the back, what we can do is add a lot, because here you will accumulate a lot of dust, so it makes sense that you add some more there, and you can add a little bit. I guess the wheels will create some dust. You can add some on the inside of the weapons, and even a little bit on the bottom and inside of this. So I put a little bit more of this sand, and you can see when it dries, it creates in this nice dusting effect. Okay, here it's still wet, but you can see how that is looking quite interesting. And I think it adds a lot to the vehicle, especially on orcs, that I don't expect them to be cleaning up. Okay, you can see I put as well here some dirtiness, so you can put it on different parts, so to create all these effects. What I recommend is, once you have done all this, if you have holes, put back black on the holes. But overall, for example here, I want to put a little bit more of this soot on this part, because if not the weapon will look very weird. Again, it have dry, but you come back with some water, and you can. The only thing is that you have to. You can see that they have a lot of dust accumulated on the bottom of this. So what it's important to know is that the powders will be reactivated each time you put water, so they are not fixed. So you need to use a fixer, or you need to use varnish to fix them, or even the same Lamian medium or a liner. So you can see now this one have dry, and I think it looks quite interesting, all this dirtiness and dry. So you can see, I think it's improving a lot, and it's making it much more interesting. And this is the other one we were playing with. Okay, so that's all for this video. I hope you have enjoyed this video about how to use pigments to create dust, to create rust, to create dirtiness. And please give a like if you have liked this video, share if you think other people can be interested. As usual, thanks a lot for watching, and see you again later. Bye.